In this part I would like to talk a little bit about using the hands for sensing energies, feeling energies. So first I'll go into the energetic structure of the hand. So the hands are very useful to use because of all the parts of the skin which are mapped onto the brain. The hands are by far the largest. The hands and the face contain most sensory organs, and that part of the brain is very well developed. So sensations of the hand and sensations of the face can be mapped very, very precisely, and this also means that part of the brain is able to process information very precisely. So this makes the hand a very good tool for mapping energy. The hand itself is also quite receptive to energy. There are 7 chakras in every hand, so there's one chakra here at the base of the hand, there's one in the center of the hand, and there's one chakra at every fingertip. And with these 7 chakras together, we can pick up a lot of energies. So some chakras are very specific. They're attuned to a certain frequency of energy, like the 7 main chakras. They attune to a specific vibration. The nice advantage of hand chakras is because we are beings which naturally touch lots of things. We touch food, we touch trees, we touch rocks. We are able to sense a lot of different energies, a lot of different frequencies with hand chakras. So they're very much general purpose chakras. For some people, they have a giving hand, which they use to project energy, and they have a receptive hand, which is basically absorbing energy. So when they're working with a client, they use one hand to feel the client and the other hand to heal the client. So, and this is kind of like the energetic circle, absorbing energy, releasing energy. But in my case, I actually have dual purpose hands, so I use my hands both for receiving energy and for giving energy, and the same here. But my hands are not equal. So in the same way as a person can be right-handed, left-handed, or ambidextrous, or have, well, 2 left hands, that's also possible. And the same also goes for people's energies bodies. So some people also energetically have 2 left hands, or are ambidextrous, or their right hand or the left hand is simply stronger than the other. This is quite normal, and in the same way as a right-handed person can train their left hand by putting their right hand in a sling, you can also energetically train your other hand to become equally strong. And this is usually also nice for the client you're treating or feeling with, when your hands have a more or less similar energy and a similar flow. Often the biggest difference is not so much in the amount of energy which every hand possesses, but also in how reactive it is, how quick it is, how fast does the energy flow, how easily does it flow. And in a dominant hand it flows much more quickly, much more easily. So if you're trying to feel with your dominant hand, you will feel an energy, and within a few seconds you will know, okay, this is what I'm feeling. With your non-dominant hand, if you're feeling the same energy, you're feeling, and oh yeah, I'm starting to get a sensation, and it will take you maybe 2 minutes to get the same information your dominant hand could get in 5 seconds. So if you notice this, don't worry, it is very normal. And you can work on it by practicing your kind of lazy hand. And by working with the lazy hand, it will also get faster, it will develop, because you're putting also more energy in it, more life force will flow to it, and it can adapt, it can change. And fortunately for us, energy bodies can grow and adapt much more quickly than physical bodies. So this won't take months, as it would take when you have to learn to write with your other hand. But within a few weeks you can already more or less equalize your hands. But it will have the tendency to slide backward and to go back to being a lazy hand, because your attention also in everyday life will tend to be focused on your active hand, on your dominant hand. So, if we get more into detail how to apply such a hand chakra, the fingertip chakras are usually used for sensing. So you can use every chakra to give energy and to receive energy, but the fingertips, they're very good at receiving energy, while the chakra in the center of the palm is very good at giving energy. So it makes it easier if you give energy with the center chakra and if you try to feel with the fingertips. The chakra at the base of the hand, as you can imagine, just like an animal which rests on its heel, it is about support. And also this chakra is very much about support. So it is not as flexible as the other chakras is. The other chakras can easily attune to different energies. This chakra tends to attune more to lower energies, more environmental energies. So if you're trying to work with something which has a rapidly changing energy, like a living being, then you really need these higher chakras to tune into these rapid fluctuations. If you're trying to tune into something which is more or less stable, like a stone or a tree or the energy of just the landscape, then this chakra at the base of the hand comes into play much more, because it allows you to feel kind of the background radiation, while these give you the more little variations. So you need all 7 chakras to give you a kind of a complete image. The chakras have to be opened for them to work. Opening chakras requires 2 things. One of them is life force. If there is no life force, there is nothing which can react, which can respond, which can record the energy. So if your life force is low, you're tired, you're sleepy, you haven't ate well, your energetic perception and performance is not going to be that great. So if you want to work with energy, you have to take good care of yourself. So if your life force is okay, then you also can go a little bit more into detail as to not just having enough life force, but also having a good quality of life force. So life force tends to become slow and stagnated if you're trapped in all kinds of habits, or if your life force is kind of like stuck in a very narrow frequency. And here we get to the use of variety in food and variety in environment. Because we adapt. We adapt to what we eat and we adapt to the places we are. And if we have adapted, then there's no need to adapt anything anymore. So if you always eat the same and you're always in the same place, then your life force gets very comfortable, very optimized, but also becomes completely inflexible and unresponsive. And by meeting new people, going to different places, having a big variety of food, and energetically that means food with very low vibrations to very high vibrations, so you could eat, for instance, a fish which has a low vibration and a piece of fruit which has a very high vibration. And by learning how to deal with all these different things, the energy body has to practice. It's a little bit like doing sports for your physical body, just by moving, by practicing, by running, by lifting weights, by climbing, by competing. Your physical body stays fit. And it is the same with the energetic body. By challenging it, by having to deal with different situations, different people, different types of energies, it stays fit, it stays healthy, it stays strong. So, once we have ensured a healthy life force, it is about focus. So we need to be able to bring our attention here, and we need to be able to control our chakras. We need to be able to open and close them on command. But while we have learned as babies how to move the physical body, we have not really practiced as much in how to move our energy body. So one of the easiest ways to start doing it is through visualization and biofeedback. So you have to create an association, and by this association you will get a feedback on how it is doing. So for instance, I can say like, okay, this is my hand and here are chakras. And I'm feeling now the energy. The energy has a certain temperature, and the more energy I feel, the warmer it will get. And I want my hand to feel warmer. I want my chakras to feel warmer. And by wanting it to feel warmer and focusing on the sensation, the chakras start opening. And yeah, now it's getting already a little bit tingly. Now it is getting quite a sharp sensation. And now it is actually positively warm as these chakras open. So I'm looking for the warmth, I'm looking for the energy. And the chakras are always naturally fluctuating. So if they're opening and closing all the time, and if you in a way inspire them to open more, you give a positive feedback when they're opening, then they will open more wide. So this is one technique, using heat. Another way to do it is actually to use a visualization. So chakras are often envisioned as lotus flowers. So flowers can be closed and they can open themselves up. But in the same way also the chakra in your hand can be a closed lotus flower which can unfold itself and open up. So I can also create a mental image and feel in my mind's eye the chakras in my hand. Right now they're closed, and I imagine spring is coming, they're starting to bloom, they're starting to open, and they're slowly but surely spreading their leaves, opening more and more wide. And often for people this gives a tingly sensation, or sometimes even pain in their hands. This is also very normal. It is very much, you can compare it to doing sports. If you haven't practiced and you're straining yourself, then you really feel your muscles, you feel the burn of the muscles which are being challenged. And also the energy body, if you haven't used it for a long time, you haven't opened your chakras for a while, then when you start opening them, you feel it. And this can also be confusing because people start to associate it, like, okay, now I feel the tingly sensation, the burn of, and so now my chakras are open. But when people start practicing it, they do it for 3 weeks, opening their chakras consciously. They won't feel it when they're open because they're no longer pushing their boundaries, they're no longer pushing their limits. And just like a person who does sports can become addicted always to look for the limit, always to push themselves further because they like this subtle pain, this subtle strain on the body. So also people who can become energy addicts. So they're always looking for the strain of the energy body only just being able to cope. And unfortunately it is quite dangerous, just like a person pushing their body further and further and further, and ultimately they can injure themselves. The same can happen to the energy body. People can burn out their energy body by taking on energies which their body is not ready to deal with yet, or their consciousness is not ready to deal with yet, and they can go insane. So practice your energy body, definitely, maintain it at a healthy level, but it is not necessary to turn into a bodybuilder or an energetic bodybuilder. So the last way I want to discuss for opening the hand chakra is actually a more direct way. Because as I said, you can use the biofeedback, but you can also just use the life force. You can stimulate the life force by moving another object which has life force. So you can use one hand to stimulate the other hand. So as I said, the chakras are on this side, not on that side. So if I move my hand like this, it will have little effect on the bottom hand. But if I move my hand like that, it will have effect. And by, in a way, pulling the life force or pushing the life force into my hand, the life force will start to collect in the bottom hand. And as the life force collects, it is also looking for a way out and looking for something to pick up. It's like blood, which also goes to the lungs to pick up oxygen. In the same way, the energy is now going into the hand to pick up other energies from outside. So this is also a way, by stimulating the life force, just charging your hand with life force, and in a very natural way, your chakras will open.